All right, welcome, ladies. It is, oh my God, what day is today? December 6th, 2016. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about scheduling. A couple months ago, my girl Sydney and I, we did a team call together on time management. So I'm really going to focus on how I schedule and the things that I learned at the last Super Saturday from Sarah Try so that you can best utilize that time management piece of it. So I hope everybody, did you guys all bring your calendars? Thumbs up if you have a calendar with you. No calendar? Okay, Tracy, no problem. I do have some images. You can print them out. Or if you grab a pad of paper and just write down some dates. I'm going to show you the visual here as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, the first thing I want to say is you guys both know about the health bet, yeah? Thumbs up, health bet? Yes. Good, good. So the health bet, Tracy, I know you did it last time with me back in September. They're doing it again, and the pot has doubled. So the start of their health bet is January 9th, and they started the pot at $2 million this time. Last time they started it at $1 million. So already we've doubled that pot, which is awesome. So last time we each got about $16 and change. So imagine if this is doubled, we could expect about double that. So that's super exciting in and of itself because then we can get a full pedicure instead of just part of it, right? But any money that we're getting just for working out is good in my book. So it could be $5 and I'm still cool with that. So I want you to mark that on your calendar, and I'm actually going to share my screen with you guys right now so that you can see. I've pulled up my screen here with January 2017, and I'm using PicMonkey, but I actually have, and I'll show you after I stop the screen share, excuse me, but I have my own calendar that I like to color code, and so I'll go through that with you guys as well. So the first thing that you want to do on this calendar of yours is decide on when your next challenge group is going to start. So I'm going to give you a little helpful hint here in January, but January, I strongly recommend starting on January 9th because that's when the health bet starts. So I'm going to go ahead and add some text here, hopefully. Sorry about that. Okay. And I'm just gonna click New Year Group Start. I want you to go ahead and write that because that is a really important date, especially with that health bet happening. There's really, in my mind, no reason to start any other day in January other than that, that Monday, the 9th, because that's when you're really going to need to start. So from that date, the next thing you're going to do is go about 7 to 8 days before that start date. So if your start date is going to be January 9th, 7 days before that would be Monday, the 2nd. That is your last day to commit to a challenge group. So that's the last day that someone can place an order and be able to start on time, that they are going to commit to being in that group and still start on time. And this is something that Sarah Try at Super Saturday said should be a non-negotiable, because what happens is somebody will buy something, let's say on the 26th, well, you've already done 2.5 weeks, and then they're like, well, I've only caught 3 days of it. So it's better to put them in your next group and say, like, I'm so happy you're joining. I'm going to put you in my February group, and that one starts on this day. So that last day to commit, I want you to go 7 or 8 days. You can decide, but a minimum of 7 days before, and add that to your calendar. So in January, it would be the 2nd if you're doing that. All right, last day to commit. It's a little bit smaller here. All right, so Now that we've got those 2 dates on the calendar, everybody's got that? Makes sense so far? You're going to want to mark off on your calendar what day you're going to open that group. So if you're opening it in the Challenge Tracker app, or if you're opening it on Facebook, you want to have a date on your calendar that you know that you're going to open that by. And what I do is I open it the day before the last day to commit. That way, anybody that's already committed by that day, I can add to the group. And anybody that commits on that last day to commit, all I have to do is add them. So you can go ahead and add that to your calendar, which will be super fun on New Year's Day to open it up. But nobody says it has to be in the morning, so you can sleep in. Oops, not calendar. Open New Year's group. All right, so now we've got our next challenge date on the calendar. We've got our last day to commit by on the calendar. We've got when we're going to open the group. And now it comes down to planning. So this I'm going to actually stop the screen share for because it'll be easier to show you kind of how I plan November and December. Because I'm going to stop my screen share here. I'm back. Okay, so if you can take a look here. Oops, sorry about that. All right, so when I'm looking at my last day to commit is January 2nd. What we can't do is on January 1st, when everybody's hungover from New Year's, go, my challenge group last day to commit is tomorrow. First of all, nobody knows what a challenge group is. Second of all, everybody's going to be hungover, and ain't nobody going to look at that post that you just did or that invite, okay? So what you want to do is think it through and think, okay, if I want this to start with my last day to commit on January 2nd, the week before that is actually going to be when you're, for lack of a better word, advertising for that group and inviting people. So on my calendar, what I've decided to do is host a free group that last week. And I'm going to try to hold this here. I actually got this in the mail, and this was my free calendar to end out my year. So this is my November and December. I'm super classy, guys. So what I've decided to do is to run a clean eating group that final week. So it's actually going to start in December 26th. And it's going to run through December 30th. And I'm looking at it as a way to gain traction, add value to people's lives. It's a completely free group. They do need to sign up for a free membership. But once they have that free membership, they have the recipes, they have all that information that we can provide them. And it doesn't have to be a clean eating group, but some sort of group to attract that interest. And then I foresee it in this particular week being like, hey, let's kick off the end of the year so that you can look good in your little black dress, even though you splurged on Christmas, holiday dinner, whatever. Let's clean it out so you can still look good in the black dress. So that's what I plan to do the 26th through the 30th. So I've marked that on my calendar that I'm going to do a clean eating group. And then on the 30th, what I'm going to do is offer an incentive. And I did this on my last clean eating group. Nobody took the incentive, but when they start to see that pattern, it may turn around. You never know, like with the grouping and who's going to like the incentive and who could care less about the incentive. But on the 30th, I make a post and it's something like, thank you so much for joining us this week. I really enjoyed having you, blah, blah, blah. And my next group is starting January 9th. The last day to commit is January 2nd. So if you order Shakeology and a workout by January 2nd, you're going to get a free tank top from me. And anyone that orders between that December 30th and January 2nd is going to get sent a tank top from me. Feel free to offer that to your groups if that's something that you want to do. I'm happy to work out with you guys. You guys know that I've started my own Etsy shop, and you don't have to pay Etsy shop prices because you're my girls. But just, keep that in mind, that those little things sometimes will be the things that help commit people. All right. So now I've got this planned out. January 9th, challenge group starts. January 2nd is the last day to commit, which means that week of January 2nd is kind of that preseason, because I like to do 3-week groups. So it's technically a month long with that January 2nd preseason. So on here, on this week, you can see that the week of the 26th through the 30th, what I've started to do is plan out ideas for posts. I'm not planning out my post itself, but it's like, oh, this might be a good idea that might attract some interest. For example, on Wednesday, the 28th, I plan on doing, or I had the idea to do, like a Wellness Wednesday post and share a healthy holiday recipe. So a recipe that might be good for the holidays, like a healthy mashed potatoes, for example, or the healthy stuffing. But the important thing is that I've tried it and it tastes good, because there's definitely, and I'm sure Miley can agree, some recipes that sound really good and then they aren't so good. So that's my plan for that, and to generate some interest there. It's really important that we're always adding value. So these are just ideas of how I can add value and interest for someone to commit to my group. The week before that, so December 19th through 23rd, I've also planned out ideas for posts for the January 2nd group. So actually this week, I'm sure you guys have seen, I've been doing the 12 days of Christmas giveaways. Ironically, I've gotten a lot of interest on Instagram. So people that I've never spoken to before have seen that and been messaging me. No one's bought anything yet, but I'm having a lot of conversations from it, and I think that's a good thing, and that's a plus in my book. My Facebook crew is kind of like, whatever, bitch. Like, I don't know. Sorry for the B word. Sorry, Miley. I hope Emma and Oliver are not around. So anyways, my point is that the 19th through 23rd is kind of where I'm starting to but generate more ideas with different ways to generate the interest for that January 9th group. So if you think about this in long term here, I'll show you kind of my January calendar. I got this planner from Michael's. We're all teachers on this call right now, but teacher discount on top of having a 50% off coupon. This thing was like $15. And my favorite part is it comes with stickers in the back. So I'm just saying, if you're looking for a planner and you want stickers, this is the one to go for. It is got all these like fun things on the front, like positive vibes, and like all these like positive things each month. Anyways, so you can see I've kind of planned out my January here, and I know it's kind of difficult to see. I wish there was like a DocuCam. Teachers, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like a DocuCam that I could show you better. But I've already marked our next Funspire Team call, because the first Tuesday of every month is when our team call is. So I've marked that on my calendar. I plan a 3-day refresh group. So I've kind of started to plan out what my January is going to look like. I know when my last day of Court of Force round 2 is going to be. I've marked that. My New Year's group, when that starts, I plan on doing a coach sneak peek. I've added that in there. A challenge group invite with a recipe is on there. And then a clean eating group that last week. So I've actually set myself up from now through March, basically, in when my groups are going to start. So the first thing that you always do is just mark those hard dates. This is when it's going to start. This is when the last day to commit is, because then it's easy to plug in those things behind it and how you're going to fill those groups. So that's the 4th step. And when we were at Super Saturday, Sarah Tri actually played the Jeopardy theme music, but I know Tracy is driving and Miley is cooking, so I'm not going to do that and make you guys write at the same time as you're doing that. But really sit down and write down some of those ideas. Like, how are you going to fill this group? If you write those dates on the calendar, but you don't have a plan of how to fill that group, then you're not going to get anywhere. So one of the things, I don't know if you can see it on my December calendar, but December 23rd actually says send 5 extra invites for the group. So it's like, it can be as easy as that, or it can be post ideas or just reminders that like, I need to actually invite people to do this group with me. Okay, let me just check my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, decide on a commit by date. Decide on a day to start the challenge group. Decide on a date to open the group. Plan out how you will fill your challenge groups. And that should be a week ahead of your commit date, at least 1 week ahead. And then the last one is to turn those challengers into coaches. So, that really comes down to building a challenge group where people are active and they're getting the results that they want. I think that the best challengers or the best coaches are challengers. I mean, Miley was technically signed up as a coach just like I did for the discount in the beginning. Miley was one of my challengers for over a year and now is a rock star. Tracy, you started in my challenge groups and were a rock star in the challenge groups. And that's why I really believe that you're going to go really far, because we have that product knowledge base and can really help people and help motivate people, because we know, and we've been through it, and we know it has helped us, right? So that was really the big thing in the planning and scheduling. And then the other thing that Sarah does that I really liked is that she would not advertise, but talk about the coaching opportunity that last week of her challenge group. So in actuality, what I was thinking was that my December group would actually be joining or invited to join the January coach opportunity piece of that. Now, that's not my expectation for you guys to host your own coach sneak peek and opportunity call. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. And I don't know if you guys have seen, but Sydney and I have kind of teamed up and we've been doing a lot of things together. So Sydney and I are doing a call. If you want to mark the date down, you can invite people that might be interested or your challenge group. We're going to do a 30-minute Zoom call on Monday, December 12th at 5:30. So you can invite people to that if you have challengers that kind of want more information. That's the December one. And then we've got January set out. So once you get that rhythm down, it's a lot easier to go in and be successful because you have that plan in mind. So it's kind of one of those 7 steps, where you start with the end in mind. That's what you need to do. Don't try to just start a challenge group, throw one together, and think that it's going to be wonderful and great. Pick a day, commit to it, pick a day to open it, and plan those things out. You don't have to plan the posts and how you're going to fill it, but start brainstorming those ideas, because that's really where the success comes in, is planning those things out. And if you get super over ambitious like me, you can always color code it. So there's that too. Like I said, I've kind of have found that I have a rhythm at this point starting in January. December was a little messy, but January is really where I've found that there's a rhythm that, okay, that first week of the month is going to be my preseason. So that first Monday is the last day to commit. The second Monday is when it starts. The last Monday of the month is going to be a free group. And then there's an incentive at the end of that free group to join the following month's group. So I've started to set up this pattern and this rhythm so that when life gets super hectic and chaotic and we just don't have time for those things, I've kind of already got it planned out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I needed to invite 5 people today so that I could have a killer challenge group. For me and the way my brain works, it works a lot easier. And I strongly recommend minimally picking out some dates so that you remember, and having that memory jogger and putting those on the calendar that, okay, Monday, I really need to start trying to fill this challenge group because next Monday is the last day to commit. And I think that's it. So do either of you have any questions or comments? You can take yourselves off mute. I'll help unmute you. Okay, you're muted.
Now, the challenge group in January, our challenge people will have to go through the app, right?
If they want to be a part of the health bet, yes. Yeah. And that's the other thing too, Tracy. What I typically do with my new coaches is kind of like an apprentice coach in a group. So you and I will team up and
okay. I'll be like in your group, right?
Yes. So usually with the apprentice coaches, what we do is I post, and I've actually teamed up with Sydney again in January. Sydney is doing the group with me in December, but she's on vacation right now, so you haven't seen her post anything yet. But we plan on doing January together too. And so the plan is that she or I will always post in the morning. And as an apprentice coach, the expectation would be that you help engage the challenger. So you go and comment on other people's, and you're kind of that cheerleader. If you find an extra piece of motivation or a good recipe, you can share it. But that way you don't have to worry about coming up with the posts. And of course I'll share the guides that we use with you. But that way it helps take the pressure off where you're not like, oh my gosh, I have to post and I don't know what I'm doing. And
right. I don't even know how to set that app up.
Yeah. And we can do more than one apprentice coach group. It's not like, okay, well, you've had your 30 days, you're out. Because I want you to feel comfortable and successful. Miley was like, I think I'm going to run my own group this month. And I was like, oh, but it was so fun running them with you. Hi, bud.
Hi.
Oh, go clean up the table.
Any other questions?
Jenna, did you find in your the last health bet, did you have walk away? A lot of people lose interest with the challenge tracker app.
I did a lot, but Tracy, you're in my December group, right? It's the final countdown one, or no?
And I kind of got confused because I didn't know if we were tracking in Facebook or if we were supposed to be tracking in both the Facebook and the app. So
yeah.
I like kind of back and forth. I'm like, you know, occasionally I would post in the app, but then I'm like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, so there was some confusion because I got feedback that people liked the challenge tracker app.
Right, yeah.
And logging it in there.
All your workouts and stuff.
Right, but then no one was interacting with each other.
True.
So I was like, well, let me see if I do Facebook. And I'm more of a video girl. Like, I feel like I communicate better in videos anyways than typing out, because sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much to say, and this is a really long thing, and I didn't mean for it to be a really long thing, and it could have been a 1-minute video. And so that's why I kind of had created both. And then it was like no one did anything because it was like, wait a second, now I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So the group that Sydney and I are running, I don't think you're in that one, Tracy. I'll send you the invite because it's like bopping right now, and it's on the challenge group app. And some of the things I've done, I want to share with you guys while we're still recording, because it's really piqued quite a bit of interest. And I made some notes on it. I want to say it was the diamond lunch break that Brittany Leggett had done that I got to hop on. Let me see. I can't remember if it was that one or not, but anyways, one of the things that they talked about was, you know how we have that getting to know you post? Well, they said do 10 questions that have nothing to do with fitness. So I can't remember offhand what were. I'll try to open it up as we talk here, but it was like post 10 questions that have nothing to do with fitness. There's like no pressure, and it's just, okay, here you go. Okay, so the questions I asked were, where do you live? What do you do for work? What's your favorite color? Do you have any pets? How many siblings do you have? what's your favorite hobby, favorite TV show, what's your love language, and then I put the different love languages in there, a random fun fact about you, and what are you scared of. I actually had just about all of the participants engage and answer those 10 questions without needing any tagging or anything.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple that I needed to tag and say, hey, don't forget to introduce yourself. But overall, just about all of them, I would say 80% of them responded to that. Then day 2, what I did was I said, let me see if I can find the day 2 post here. Scheduled. So the day 2 post was something like, okay, your job today, I can't seem to find it. Day 2, load more, sorry, hang on.
Oops. Okay, I got it right here.
Day 2, okay, so I put a meme up, and it was Willy Wonka, and it said, you're going to eat healthy this week without meal prep. Tell me again how that works. And I just said, it's day 2. Don't forget to meal prep. The week is meant to prepare. I talked a little bit about meal planning and what it is. And then I gave them an assignment, and I said, go back to yesterday's post. It's pinned at the top. If you haven't answered the questions, go back and answer them. If you have answered, go back and read them and find someone that has 2 things in common with you. And once you find that person, tag them in this post and introduce yourself. So what it forced people to do was go back, read everybody's, and find somebody that they had in common with. And then they ended up tagging it. Today's post was a recipe exchange. And I said, okay, we're going to exchange recipes. Once you've submitted a recipe, I want you to go back and find another person that you have something in common with and tag them to add a recipe. So now they've gone back to that initial introduction post twice. And I will say this is like the most active group I think I've ever had on Facebook or challenge group ever. And it all had to do with, okay, here's questions that have nothing to do with fitness. Go back and read them and find somebody. I've tried a couple of different things to get people to engage with others, but this little thing of just, okay, find something that you have this random thing in common with and not have like an accountability buddy, but like go back and check them out. So I think that that's really helped Miley, and it's kind of given people a reason to check back into the challenge tracker. And I think they like that it has the alerts, and I'm kind of just trying to adjust to, I don't get to do videos.
Okay.
Anything else, ladies?
No, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording then.